same day, like it's a great day.
Bring
You
that
get
shit
some
on.
good loving. You like, you know what? Your mind start thinking different. Your energy start being different. You start feeling different. So that's why the first step is to really love yourself. Like,
Before, when I say oppression is atmospheric, you can only oppress somebody according to how strong they are to endure the weight of the oppression. So you have these manifest deities in the form of paupers, right? Now, we see people, homeless people on the streets, and some of us be feeling pity for them. But then you have other people who feel like they got what they deserve because they must have been a bad person. And you got another group of people who figure that if they was a good people, somebody in their family would take them in, right? So all these different views to view the homeless person that you see, right? So the homeless guy sitting on the corner with his cup, and people come, so most people pass him, don't even give him a second look. Occasionally other people pass him, some of them toss a quarter in the cup, some put a couple dollars, some will put a few dollars in there. But it's a different form of manifestation. You'll see what I'm talking about shortly. A lot of the ones who took the suffering on in order to carry the burden of the weight of the change has to be compensated according to the laws of nature. So a lot of the ones that we laughed at, scoffed at, looked down upon because they was in what we called adverse conditions of life, that had to be a position filled. Just like if you go read the jobs and the job descriptions, if you're going to be a janitor, you know you're going to wash toilets. So you got two options: don't be a janitor or wash the toilet. This is equivalent, the spiritual equivalent of the ones who we call paupers, the impoverished. Sometimes you see them people out there like that, but they might have millions of dollars in a bank account somewhere, and they just gave up their life they had to go living on the street as a pauper. So you look at the situation of the different levels. If you see that the people can't carry the burden of the society, you have to compel the strong ones at the bottom to just stand up. And that ends the game, because the atmospheric nature of oppression, where the strongest are normally the ones at the bottom. Think about it for a minute. If you're not strong enough to endure the pressure, however strong you is, that's where your pressure valve at. That's where your pressure valve at. So when you hit your pressure valve, you let the excess off. Now you can relax at the level you climbed up out of the oppression. Some of us, because we can take it, endure more suffering if it wasn't for spiritual purposes, it wouldn't be functional in the society. But because the society is the cross-section of the spiritual meet the physical, manifest the creation. Mental meets the spiritual, manifest the creation. That's the nature of the hologram. The hologram is to inform you that all things are the sum total parts of the whole. So it don't matter if you're vegan or a carnivore or a pescatarian or a strict vegetarian. It don't really matter. What matters is the reverence you get of food that's going to sustain your life. The more reverence you get of food, the more healing qualities it'll pass on to the organism when you consume it. You think that you can't argue humanity of the animal if you don't argue the humanity of the plant. When I say humanity, I mean the sentient qualities, the living qualities. The plant feel, cry, weep, mourn just like the people do. But you just don't know it because you're not a plant, so you don't think like a plant. So you experience life looking on to the plant as if it's different from eating a chicken. When you get to your God mind and you realize that it don't matter what you eat, you have to look at the bloodline and how you developed your diet. Just hope you ain't one of them blood-sucking motherfuckers. Because you ain't staying here. I don't know where you going, but you got to get the fuck out of here, jumping motherfuckers. Got the whole atmosphere fucked up on Earth. Yep. So, you take the person that you're looking down on and ask yourself, what are you really seeing in your heart versus what you're saying in your head? Because if you're using your head to condemn the person that's in the adverse condition, then you condemning your heart to an adverse condition. You better read the motherfucking signs. The judgment that you meeting out on somebody else, you got to match that shit in order for it to be balanced. You can't judge somebody for doing something that you don't do unless you recovered from doing it. Because now you got a frame of reference. That means that in this thing called life, we supposed to make mistakes to learn from them. Because when we born, we can't even read the manual if it was one here. We have to rely on the interaction of the energy exchange between the members of the family to understand the social structure. And so the pauper gods, the ones that take the most suffering, they do it because they can. And they mete out the greatest blessings. You know what you talking about, Rod? Energy exchange. The mutual reciprocal nature of energy exchange. You wishing, or you saying they deserving of their lot, and they chose their lot in order to help you use their lot to come up. If you didn't know what it would look like to be poor, you wouldn't even know that poverty was a possibility. That means you couldn't be impoverished. You need a frame of reference. You have handicaps being born in order for you to understand how lazy your ass is when you got a motherfucker with down get further in life than you. That's another form of a guy taking an adverse position or automatic setback in order to have a hell of a come up. Cause when you look at it, you got motherfuckers running marathons with their legs cut off at the knee. But the average motherfucker so lazy, they look like they don't want to take that motherfucking time to exercise and keep their body in optimum working condition so it can last longer. Right? And then you got others. Who always got something to say about somebody else. The couch potato calling all the other couch potatoes fat slobs. But he doing the same thing they doing. That's how you understand the science of judgment according to the rules of the just. The rules of the righteous say, stand in the position of right and tell the truth. And I'm off the right hand of my mama. And all she ever told me was the truth. She told me how to read the signs in my face behind my back. Here's the blueprint. Follow it. I'm going to lay it all out for you, but I ain't going to tell you what I'm laying out. You got to put the puzzle together. What you mean, Mom? You smart. You'll figure it out. Big Mama say you ain't going to leave no stone unturned. What she mean by that? You smart. You'll figure it out. All things being secure. Right? At some point, the pauper God say, okay, that's enough suffering. I'm going to bring this shit to an end and mete out the blessings to the righteous and leave the wicked where they stand to be dealt with by the rules of righteousness. Give them their reward according to their level of wickedness. Some of them going to get hit with a soul splitter. Some of them going to get split from the rooter to the tutor. But however you go, we gonna split this shit up. It's time to motherfucking divvy up the ends now. Baddest motherfucker ever born. Ain't even, that's not even Big Head. When you in the God mind, the unity of consciousness is the understanding that God manifests everywhere from the penthouse to the projects and everywhere in the middle. And that the proper preparation prevent the poor performance flips it around in order for you to be able to see what you see when you see what you saw. And when you see what you saw, then you cut that shit down the middle. That's how you divvy up the ends. Hey, Turtle from Detroit. So, I don't got a whole lot left to say, so I'm going to bring a couple. So somebody said, well, why Malachi plead guilty? Go back and listen to the rejection of the plea by the judge. He said that he was pleading guilty under duress, under the force of threat and coercion, and that they had threatened the life of his wife and his children.
Wow.
So he said what they wanted him to say in order to get his family secure first.
Damn. They had to do something with him because he was busting them up. Man.
He's finna bust him up some more. Wait till this new set of books he dropped when he get home come out.
He got new books coming out?
He always gonna write books. That's what he do.
Oh, shit.
He gonna name names of the people involved in the case, the roles that they played, and all that.
Damn.
He know the whole story. The ones put him up to it, the ones paid him to do it, the ones reneged on the payments that they was offered. It was a lot of money being exchanged from the federal government to witnesses in that case. They don't want to talk about that part of the case.
Wow.
It was a lot of money being changed hands. It was music careers being bartered and acting careers. All of this is part of the FBI file on Malachi out of the COINTELPRO documents, which will be released to the public soon. Some of it was in a massive media drop about a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Good. Damn, man.
But really, he was a mirror for Jeffrey Epstein. Everything they accused him of, Jeffrey Epstein was doing it.
I remember you saying that, and Bill Cosby was a flip for
Weinstein, because everything they accused him of doing, Harvey Weinstein was actually doing it.
Yeah, I thought that.
We wasn't never supposed to find out. So those was their sacrifices in order for their people to walk.
Wow.
Look, Jacob received over $100,000 from government payouts after the case was took in.
His son?
Yeah. He said to leave his son alone. He don't want anybody to do nothing to him. He said nature gonna take its course. He said he'd rather for Mother Nature to deal with it than one of the Nubians, because he don't want that blood on his hands, because that's his son.
Wow.
They wanted to do something to him because a lot of them really was there when the plot was being hashed out. It was people in the room while the conversation was going on that came back and told Pops before all of this shit blew up what they was talking about. So then he had to do countermeasures. He had to put ears to the ground to hear what all the niggas talking about behind the scenes. So just like they was watching him, he had motherfuckers watching them.
Already knowing.
Documenting the whole fucking thing the whole time. And that's why it come out, a lot of it come out in his diplomatic proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the treaties, if they would have ever been signed with us, would have been in violation. But because we didn't never sign the treaties, when you argue the treaties, they be like, that shit don't mean nothing to us. Nigga, your ass out.
Mm-hmm.
right? So he got to leave the information out in the public domain of what's taking place so that one of the other chiefs on the land can explain to the people what these dirty motherfuckers is doing. And it's all out in the public domain. It's not a secret.
Wow. Man. I was kind of pondering that for a minute. I'm like, how these niggas get York, man? Like, sheesh. That's crazy.
Look, at the time they was having meetings to hash the plot to entrap Dr. York under the COINTELPRO program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. York was in one of the Nuwabian meetings doing a lecture called The Persecution of the Righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Where he telling motherfuckers, if we don't get together and if we don't get unified, they gonna come get me out the picture, then y'all gonna be fucked. But at the same time, he got infiltrated when they became the United Nuwabian Nations of Moors.
That's when he got infiltrated?
Yep. Because they came in the same way. They came in behind some good Moors.
Mm-hmm.
And once they got in, then that's what made them be able to put him in the position to trip him up.
Man, that shit wild.
These motherfuckers ain't bullshitting with us, dog. We bullshitting with them, acting like trying to go along to get along.
Facts. I be trying to
They ain't
tell
gonna
people.
never appreciate no go along to get along ass nigga, because to them, you don't got no motherfucking spine. You ain't got no testicles. You don't stand for nothing. So lay your ass down while I finish sending these other motherfuckers to stand in your place. I give them a couple $1,000, they'll stand there.
Man, I be trying to tell people, like, there's a lot of shit going on that y'all don't know about.
When I first heard the Dr. York case, motherfuckers used to see, because they know I study with Nuwabians. So they come to me. I was like, man, I ain't got no answers right now. I ain't gonna just believe it because it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they put it on the news. I need to be able to do my own independent investigation. So I can't give you no opinion right now. But when I get done tearing this motherfucker apart, I guarantee you I can tell you what was going on.
And who did what?
And who did what? Where they came from.
Man. So another question I had, right, you know, with this whole Hebrew Israelite thing going on, I remember you saying, like, those were Enlil's children. Those were his descendants, right?
The Israelites, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't Israelites. We was already here. That's some after the fact ass shit.
Mm-hmm.
We've been practicing the divine right of kings to rule on earth ever since the firstborn of the earthborn parthogenic son of man, which is actually the son of the woman.
Right.
Which goes back to what caused the war in heaven.
Yeah, it's time to win the war now.
It became clear when Malachi told him in the scrolls that he was Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the one who had to secure Nibiru. Now that they ran across him on the earth plane, after he done came back, because we won.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can tell them who the fuck he is, and they can't do nothing about it but do what they just did. That's the worst they could do.
Right.
Right? Now, he know that somebody was coming to get him. He told him before it ever happened. He said that system ain't gonna be able to stand the onslaught of the motherfucking shit that this right knowledge is gonna drop on their ass.
Yeah.
So all of the chiefs across the land now is established. We might not all know who they is, but all of the chiefs people know who the chief is. And just so y'all be clear, all of the chiefs not men. It's a lot of them that's women. It might be more women chiefs than it is men chiefs. So don't take that shit personal, because this ain't shit.
Thanks. You just have something you want to talk to him about?
Oh, I just wanted to say, hey. Hey, Rod. And I
How
wanted
you
to
doing?
say, I'm doing pretty good. And I wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing, because it's helping a lot of people. And we really appreciate listening to all of your videos and your lives all the time. You're great. And a great role model as well, and we really appreciate it.
Facts.
Yeah. So
Thanks, I appreciate it. Got me over
Yeah,
here blushing.
ain't nobody dropping the knowledge like you, Chief, man. Like, to hear elders speak like you in our generation is rare, you know, and it's very divine that you came at this time, Chief. Like, we appreciate you for real, man. I speak for everybody that can't tell you that. Like, we appreciate you for real.
Thank you. One of the things in my whole process is I had to incorporate all of my elders that I admired into who I became.
Mm-hmm.
In order for me to reach the highest potential in resolution of issues. I had to be able to see where they fail at, how they